So ngayong alam mo na ang kahulugan ng migration at ang mga mahalagang terminologies associated with migration, pag-usapan naman natin ang iba't ibang uri or types of migration. Ang unang type ng migration ay tinatawag natin international in scope. Okay? And pwedeng ito ay intercontinental migration, which means international boundaries yung nilalampasan o dinadaanan ng mga tao. In this case, isang Pilipino pumunta sa US para doon manirahan. So, it is international and at the same time, intercontinental migration. Asia and America. Next. The next one is also known as international, but this time, it is intracontinental migration, which basically means it only involves countries within a certain continent. So in this example, a Filipino who left the Philippines to settle in Japan. So it is international in scope, but at the same time, it is intracontinental. The second or the third one is called internal, but it is an interregional migration. So, yung internal migration, it usually happens inside one country. So, lumipat from one place to another, we can have it interregional migration and or national boundaries lang yung nilalampasan. Now, we can also categorize internal migration into two. First is interregional migration. So, pag sinabi natin yung interregional migration is movement from one region to another region within the same country. So, in this case, a person living in NCR left NCR and settled in Lucena. Anong halimbawa nito? Nung nagkaroon ng COVID-19 pandemic, may mga taga-Maynila na lumipat o pupunta na sa kanilang mga probinsya. Now, this is internal migration and interregional migration. It happens inside the Philippines and it involves one region to another region. The other type of internal migration is called intra-regional migration. So, in this, the movement is from one place to another in the same region to another. So, ano ibig sabihin yan? A person from Sugbo, from Batangas, decided to transfer to Lipa when Taal volcano erupted. So, it is an internal migration nangyari sa loob ng isang bansa, but at the same time, it is just within the places inside one region. And in this particular case, iisang ang probinsya lang. Okay? So, yun yung classification or uri ng migration based on its scale. So, again, it can be an international or internal migration. When we speak of international migration, it can be intercontinental or intracontinental. Kapag internal naman, pwedeng interregional or intra-regional. Now, meron ding migration that happens when a person from a rural place transferred to an urban, a highly urbanized city. For instance, ako taga-probinsya, tapos nag-apply ako sa UST, then natanggap, tapos doon ako nakapamuhay sa Maynila. So that's also a form of migration. It's also a form of movement from one place to another. And then, sabi ko kanina, ng pandemic, maraming mga taga-urban, say Manila, ang bumalik sa kanilang lugar. Okay? So, this is just some of the types of migration. Now, I will add more. Okay? So, ito na pag-aralan na natin. Nasabi na natin kanina, internal migration within the same country or the same continent. But, we properly call yung migration from one country to another within the same continent as an international migration. Now, What we also have is external migration. So, different country or different continent. Nag-usapan natin to sa unang recorded video, emigration, which means leaving one country to another, and immigration, moving to a new country. Meron ding tinatawag na step migration. That is a short-term migration from origin to a place of destination. For instance, taga Luzon ako. Taga Luzon talaga ako. Now, I am planning to move to, let's say, Mindanao. But before reaching Mindanao, I decided to live first for 3 months sa Visayas. So, before reaching my final destination, which is Mindanao, I migrated first to Visayas. So, merong step migration na nangyayari before you reach your final destination. The next one is called chain migration. Now, this is within the family or group. Now, it's called a series of migration. Okay? So, for instance, marami dito sa atin sa Pilipinas yan, ha? Una muna pupunta sa US yung mga tiyo-tiya, then i-adapt yung ibang mga pamangkin, etc. or pipetitionin yung mga magulang hanggang sa marami ng miyembro ng pamilya ang naroon sa US. So it is a series of migration. It started with the uncles and aunties, then yung mga pamangkin, okay, then yung mga magulang, hanggang sa lahat na sila ay naroon na sa US. Now, meron din tayong tinatawag na population transfer. This is when the government forces a group of people out of a region. Okay? Halimbawa, sa Quezon, ay may itatayo halimbawa isang malaking pabrika at maraming tao ang kinakailangan alisin sa lugar na yon. Okay? Wala silang magagawa. Because it's the government that forces them to leave the area. Now, pwede rin ito mangyari in the form of persecution. Okay? So, meron na tayong issue dito agad sa population transfer, which is also, again, another type of migration. So, sa population transfer lang, it is the government that is forcing you or forcing a group of people to live out of a region. Okay? Nothing more, nothing less. It's the government. Marami yan yung sa mga refugees, okay? Yung sa mga pinapersecute. Basically, population transfer yung nangyayari. Then we also have this so-called impelled migration. Now, what is impelled migration? You were not forced to live your life or your area by the government, but napilitan kang umalis because you seek a better and comfortable life. O halimbawa, ako, teacher sa Pilipinas, sabi ko, okay, magtuturo ako sa abroad, sa Harvard University. So, bakit? Kasi doon makikita ko yung potential ko, ma-maximize, tapos malaki ang kita, kasi dollars, etc. So, you migrated, not because you were forced by the government, but because you seek a comfortable life from other countries or from out of the place where you are currently residing. The next one is called seasonal migration. It's moving for a period of time. Yung mga bakasyonista, yung mga tiyo-tiya natin, mga pamilya natin na nasa US, nauwi sila tuwing December kasi sa reunion. It's just a seasonal migration. Then the other one is return migration, which is voluntary movement of individuals to their place of origin. Ano halimbawa nito? Yung mga balik scientist program ng bansa, yung mga scientists natin na nasa sa ibang bansa ay bumabalik sa atin para dito na sila magtrabaho, para dito na nila gawin yung kanilang mga gawain. Okay, yung mga nagpo-for good na. So, ayaw na nila dun sa US, Russia, sa Europe, and they decided to return to the Philippines or to the place of their origin. Now, mahalagang alam natin itong iba't ibang uri ng migration, not just because you will be classifying migration sa inyong assessment, sa inyong quiz, or sa ating sa activity na meron tayo after you have watched this video. But this is important dahil dito pa lang sa types of migration, makikita na natin kung saan mayroong mga issues at kung saan may mga possible issues na lumabas. So I hope nakita nyo na or napapagnilayan nyo na kung ano ba ang mga uri ng migration na may potential na pagmulan ng iba't ibang issue. Okay? So after you have watched this recorded lecture, please work on the activity provided in the HyperDoc.